Alright, so it's probably really lame that it's like my fourth video in the same night, but I just keep thinking of stuff I should probably talk about, and then I forget it all, so miserable attempt at a YouTube video. Sorry. I was watching the video about stuff I like, and I thought of some other stuff. Like, what did I think of? I like photography. I like reading and writing. I really like music. I try to write songs, but I am pretty much terrible. I just end up rhyming every other line, so I know I don't have a career in music, but it's fun sometimes. It feels good to write. I want to say I play guitar, but it's a work in progress, and by that I mean it's been a work in progress for a long time, but I'll get there eventually. Haven't been doing much lately. Everything's at home. Just I don't know. I guess I wish I had more of a natural talent at this, and I could just talk more freely without getting nervous and putting pauses every 5 seconds, or saying or like. Disappoint myself. I don't know. I also think it's kind of interesting how your voice always sounds different on the phone, or like when you play back videos, then you think it sounds in your head. And I mean, it makes you wonder whether all the people in your life hear it the way that you hear it, or if they hear it the way that electronics hear it and technology understands it to be. Or if your ears just change it in your head. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's some scientific study about it, but it just makes you wonder how much of what you know about yourself is true and how much of it's just interpretations you're making. And it makes you wonder how differently you're interpreted by other people. And I mean, I guess it applies to more than just your voice. Like, even just everyday decisions, like what shirt to wear and whether to wear your hat forward or backward. I mean, you make those choices for yourself, but you never really stop and think about how other people might see those choices as being good or bad or different. But then we judge everyone based on those choices. But it makes you wonder how many times you're accurate, how many times what you thought about something matches up with what a lot of other people thought about it. I think like that sometimes. I don't know if it's normal or if I'm just a little crazy. But I think it's pretty interesting to think about stuff like that. I remember when I was younger, I used to wonder what kept the clouds in the sky. And I think ever since then, I've kind of thought about weird things and tried to figure out why things are the way they are. I mean, it's nice to take a step back and look at things from a different perspective sometimes. And it helps you realize that your life isn't the only one there, and that you're not the only one there. And there are different ways to see everything. There are an infinite number of ways to see things. But you choose one for every situation. And what you choose affects everything else in your life and in other people's lives. It's just crazy to think about how we're so small. I know people say that a lot, but each person is so small and yet has so much, has so many ideas and thoughts and feelings and emotions and behaviors, and makes so many choices in a day, in a minute. I mean, some of them may be unconscious, but it's weird to think about how little we really do think, and how much of our lives is based on luck and chance and involuntary actions. And then there are things where you make choices because sorry, I just got really distracted. I was reading this bottle. I don't know if you can see this. Where is it? It says June 24th, but I thought it said July. I don't know if you can see that, but it kind of looks like it says July. Anyway, where was I? I completely forgot. I think I was talking about choices. Wow, I sound like some parent giving a kid talk. Yeah, you just... sometimes you make choices based on certain things you've seen or heard, or someone's told you about them. Like when to buy certain brands, or what flavor drink you should get, or just the little stuff like that. Or even the decisions you make about things to get, things to buy, or things to do based on your own preferences, your conscious preferences, like your favorite color, or the feeling you know something, the feeling you get when you do something specific, and how you make choices around that so that you can either feel that feeling or avoid that feeling. And then it's kind of like first kisses, and how you always go back for more because you know how it felt the first time, and whether or not you liked it that first time determines whether or not you're going to do it again. And I think it's the same in a lot of parts of our lives. And just how, partly depending on chance, but when you make a decision, the outcome of that shapes your future decisions. And I guess that's kind of obvious, but it's interesting if you really think about it, and how, like, if you buy a product and you have bad luck and you get a faulty product, you're probably not going to buy any products from that manufacturer or of that type, or even maybe that color, whatever it was, because you make decisions about it and you make judgments about it. And it's the same with people. You have a relationship with somebody and you determine, I guess you don't know, the future is determined by how you judge that first moment, that first kiss, or that first date, or whatever it is. And you give it a rating in your head, and you may not know it, but either it's good or it's bad. And if it's good, chances are you're going to go for it again. And it may never be the same, and you may never repeat the same thing twice. But the important thing is that you wanted to try again because you liked it that much the first time. people are just interesting because you can't predict them. You can't predict individuals' behavior, but you can predict what might happen after certain behaviors. You can predict the cause and effect of human relationships, even if you can't predict exactly how it's going to play out. Because people are just interesting. And then you think about it, it's like, how did we even get here? How? I guess, what's the meaning of life? What's the purpose of all this? Am I meant to think about things like this? Or do we have some greater purpose, or are we here for selfish reasons? Are we here just to have a good time and have a good life? But then, who's to say what that even is? What college and getting a job and having kids, is that some socially constructed idea of life? Or is that what life is meant to consist of? And I guess if there is a God, is that what created us? Or is science what created us? Or are we just not meant to question it and just enjoy it? And I guess the interesting thing to me is that everyone has a different idea of why we're here, what we're meant to do, how we're supposed to do it. But not a lot of people think about whether maybe that's the point in itself. That maybe we're supposed to be different. And if so, that's a good thing to know, because I'm pretty different. And I guess it's nice knowing that I'm not the only one who's different, and that everyone is different, and it's meant to be like that. It's just something to think about. And I guess I could go into some be nice, don't bully, be courteous to other people. But I think that's something we should all just do anyway. I mean, because we are all different. And it's unfair to judge someone based on one characteristic just because you don't possess that, and then expect that no one judges you for your characteristics. Because chances are everyone has a shared characteristic with someone else in the world. Probably more than that. Could be little. Could be a favorite color. Could be a favorite sports team. Could be just the way you think. And I guess that's part of what makes relationships work, is having that thing in common with someone else. But in the end, no two people are exactly the same. Because there's no possible way for two or more people to live exactly the same for their whole lives. To look and think and be the same. And it's hard for me to understand why people can't understand that and can't accept that there's always going to be people you don't like. There's always going to be people with characteristics that don't fit with the ones that you have. But I don't understand why those people choose to be unhappy or mean or cruel or to bully others for what they have that's different. It just confuses me, I guess. And I wonder if that's how it's supposed to be. Or if whatever being or idea or thing put us here wanted us to did we just mess up by treating each other badly? Or is this part of some plan to develop as a species, or as something bigger? Is there anything else out there, I guess is one question. But even if there was, what part are we supposed to play in that? Did we choose this wrong path for ourselves? Or is this fate? Is this how we're supposed to be to get to where we need to be? It's like humans made up so much. They made up the words I'm using now, the room I'm sitting in, computer, camera. Humans made a whole bunch of food and ideas and thoughts, and how do we know that we're supposed to be using those things if humans created them? And if we did it all over again, would humans have done it the same way? I don't have the answer. I don't know. I'd like to think we would have been better, but if we had to start over and didn't know how it was now, I think it might just repeat itself. But I bet if we saw the way we are now and started over, we might be different. But maybe not. It's something we can't predict. I guess there's just so many views on life, it's hard to figure out which one we're supposed to have, which is the right one, which is the good one. Who decided that eating healthy and exercising were good for you? Is that some fact of the universe, or is that just another thing that humans made up for us? What person, how was it decided that we're supposed to all be skinny and smart? Who decided the ideal person was a middle-aged white man, or a blonde, skinny, fit, smart, funny girl? Who decided that those were the good characteristics we wanted in a person? Who decided those were the only characteristics that you could have in a person? And who even decided that the world is so black and white in so many instances, and so split, so choice A and choice B? There's black and there's white, and there's smart and dumb and light and dark and evil and good, but where's all the in-between? Why are we so focused on being such a dual culture? Seems like people are so complex that our society should fit that idea, but it doesn't. But society has made up our ideas. So how did that happen? It's hard for me to understand why anybody would make such decisions for people as a whole when people are so different. I know I'm different, and I'm learning to be okay with that. And I hope I guess I hope that everybody else in the world can figure that out too. And that it's okay to be different. And that you can't help it because everyone is. And that there's more than one way to be. And you're going to be that person no matter what you do. And the only way to change that is through the choices that you make. And so, I guess the advice I have is to just be aware of the choices that you make as best you can. And use what you know to make better choices than you would if you didn't know. And that probably doesn't make sense right now. And I wish I could make it clearer, but I don't know. I hope someone found some enjoyment in this. This is not where I meant for this to go, but it's just something I was thinking about. I don't know. I guess I will talk to you later. Yeah. Enjoy your day. Or, like,